Listen, the more you learn, the more you earn. Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Sabali Freeman. Today I'm gonna get on here and talk to you guys about 4 things that I think that you need to have um, to go to school or go to college, I should say, full time and be successful. The semester is finally over. Thank goodness. This was definitely a very, very challenging semester for me, but it's over. I got through it. I'm officially a junior now. It feels really, really good to say that. Feels like I've been a sophomore forever. So, it feels good to just know that I'm slowly making progress and getting one step closer to graduating. Started college in August 2022. So I've been in college for about 3 years now, and it's definitely been a journey. It's been fun. I've enjoyed it so far, and I've learned so much about myself. So yeah, I'm just enjoying the journey, taking it one step at a time, one class at a time, one semester at a time, and I encourage you all to do the same. And every semester, it's progress, and that's all that matters, right? So don't rush the process. Just enjoy it and have fun. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get into the video. So the first thing I think that you need to um, consider and that you need to have before you go to school full time. And let me elaborate when I say full time. Full time is 12 credit hours, right? 12 credit hours, you are officially a full time student, right? So 12 and beyond. So the one thing I think you need is to make sure that your economics and your finances are in order. Because I'm telling you, as a full time student, you are really not going to be able to work like that. You might can get away with working a lot, doing some work study or something like that. But if you're not doing that and you're working a job as a server, working at the gym, whatever the case might be, you're not really going to work like that. Now, obviously, depending on what you're majoring in, depending on the degree that you're trying to obtain, is going to tip the scale to how much you can work. I know for STEM majors, I'm a STEM major, so biology, chemistry, biochem, things of that nature, you really not working like that. I worked Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That was only 3 days, and they gave me Monday through Thursday to just go to school and get my full undivided attention to school. And even that, most of the time, did not feel like enough. There were times where I really, really wish I did not have to work. I wish I had those weekends to study. There'd be times I would have an exam on Monday, but I'm working Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I only had half the day to really study. And it just never really felt like enough. You know what I'm saying? So it was very challenging just working 3 days, right? So with that being said, just make sure that your finances and economics, everything is in order before you go to school full time, because the last thing you want to do is be stressing about a payment, be stressing about rent, things of the nature. You don't want to be stressing about that, because college is going to stress you out. And you don't want to be stressing about an exam that you got in 2 days, but then stressing about how you're going to pay your rent next week, right? That's just not what you want. If you're a student who's living with their parents, you don't have to work different conversation. If you're an adult like me, who does not live with their parents and still has to work a job, punch a clock, those are just things to consider. So that will be the first thing. The second thing I would say is organization. Um, the more organized you are as a college student, the more successful you're going to be. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be successful while being unorganized, but being unorganized when you're going to school full time is a hassle. And I'm speaking from experience, because this semester I was extremely unorganized and I definitely knew better. But I was definitely unorganized all over the place. And it just made the journey that much more stressful. And you have to remember to be organized and keep things nice and neat. Keep all your papers and label folders, keep them in a binder. Make sure that your note taking is nice and neat so that you can go back and read those if you have to, because you're going to have to. When exams are coming up, final exams are around the corner, especially if they're cumulative, you're going to want to look back at old exams. You're going to want to look at old worksheets. You're going to have to, look at your previous notes for that. And if it's unorganized, papers just everywhere, you misplace things, then it's just going to be that much more challenging, right? So make sure that you're, keeping everything nice and neat and staying organized so that you can be successful. The third thing I would say that you need is good mental capacity. I think a lot of people take that for granted, but it's definitely needed because again, college is, it's extremely stressful. Dealing with deadlines and things of that nature. You're not really learning at your pace. You're learning at somebody else's pace, and that alone is extremely stressful. So you need good mental capacity to be able to get through 16 weeks of that, because college is just like this, the up and down roller coaster. And it's like this mentally, and it's like that emotionally. And I had a lot of times this semester where I was very discouraged, had a lot of thoughts, thinking that, you know what, this is not for me. I don't know if I can do this. I definitely had my moments, but because I had good mental capacity when I was down here, I was always able to bring myself back up here and motivate myself and keep pushing. And I even know of an individual who was in college this semester, the freshman year, and they ended up dropping out. Reason being was because they did not have the mental capacity. It was too much for them. So you have to have that when you're going to college full time, because again, it's going to be stressful. It's going to be hard, and you need to be able to keep yourself motivated every step of the way. And then the last thing I would say that you need to go to school full time is time management. And that's what it all boils down to, is how you are utilizing your time. It's easy to kind of mess around and, not do anything for an hour, and then it's going to go on 2 hours, 3 hours, and then next thing you know, you ended up wasting 5 hours of your day, and you really didn't get any studying in. You really didn't get anything done. So time management is key. You have to make sure that you're using every minute, every hour very productively. Make sure that you are, you know, taking advantage of your free time, and studying and making sure that you're getting things done, because that's what it all boils down to, is time management. How well can you utilize the time that you're given? That's what it all comes down to at the end of the day. If you have good time management skills, then you'll be very successful. And I would suggest, putting yourself in environments where you can stay focused while you're using your free time. Studying at a library. I'll study at the school pretty much every single day, and that helped to keep me focused, because studying at home, it could definitely be distracting. So I think those are four things that, if you take into consideration and learn how to use, then you can be successful going to college as a full-time student and achieve your academic goals. So I want to get on here and give you guys this video. Anybody out there that is in college or going to college, to take these things into consideration before you start full-time. If you feel like you're lacking in any of these areas, then full-time might not be the option, and you probably just need to go part-time. And that's what I did for a while. I did 30 credit hours, 6 credit hours at a time. I did not rush the process. I didn't jump in full time. I paced myself until I had all those things that I just mentioned to you guys in line, so that I could go to college and be successful as a full time student. So that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned something from it, and I'll see y'all in the next